I love breaking the fourth wall. Because it's easier to break the fourth wall than break the glass ceiling. So you might as well. That should be my Real Housewives tagline.
Clip it.
Wait, it's not that deep.
GTG. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to Not That Deep. I am so excited to be here. I'm a little tan. And when I am tan, it is over for you other bitches. I think that the leverage that you are able to pull when you have a slight tan of your titties are a little bit burnt, you're better than everyone. And I think it's super important that you understand that, but also that everybody else tells you that. Dana, why are you tan? I'm getting there. You know I'm going to bring it full circle. I'm so happy to be here because I made it back from my 3-week excursion, aka my Touch Grass Tour 2025. I didn't start calling my Touch Grass Tour 2025 until about 3 days into it when people started asking, what brings you here? Why are you here? And here, for everyone listening that doesn't allow me to run my mouth to them whenever they're available, Touch Grass Tour 2025 started in Portland, Oregon, and then went to San Francisco, and then ended in Los Angeles. So I'm just tan from Los Angeles, and we can kind of work our way up. But I wanted to simply put touch grass. I think that living in New York City and being exposed to all these amazing opportunities and people and career opportunities and adventures, it's so beautiful. It is. And I think that sometimes it's very easy to get so lost in it and kind of forget to take yourself out of, oh, I'm on an island. We are physically on an island in Manhattan. And for me, when I sometimes will zoom out on a map of Manhattan, I get freaked out a little bit because I recognize, oh, this is a small little area. And it's beautiful because it's a small little area, but there's so much going on. But also there's a lot of world to see. And something that I've done for the last couple of years is take a month, specifically April. Nothing is happening in April, except for this April. A lot of things were happening in April in New York that I missed out on. And that was a bummer. But the last couple of Aprils, I have taken it upon myself, started during COVID, to travel for a month. And so when I first started this, I lived in Savannah, Georgia for a month. And I had a friend visit me. I had a couple friends visit me. That's the thing. Like, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. If you travel and book an Airbnb, your girls are going to come. They're like, yeah, I have no better reason to be in Savannah, but you are there, so let me go. And what do people do in Savannah? Eat peaches? I don't know. I don't care. What did I do in Savannah? I had a blast. I had a really bad haircut before I went, but I still had fun. And if you can have fun with a bad haircut, you have a really beautiful mindset, because that shit can ruin everything. It grows back. Yeah, it grows back 8 months later. 8 months later, it grows back. I hate when you got a bad haircut and someone's like, you know when you got a bad haircut? You know when you're insecure about your haircut? You're like, hey guys, I got a haircut. Someone's like, what if someone said to you, it'll grow? No, that's bad. What if you were like, I got a haircut, but I feel like she went way too short. And that's when someone trying to help you says, wait, but it'll grow back. Hair grows back. They don't understand. We have to put serums in our hair. We have to put oil. It's not just that easy. When boys get a fucked up haircut, they're like, it actually will grow back. And also boys, like, your face is making or breaking you. I promise you, your hair is not doing that much for you. Women, hair, it matters, because I got a bad haircut before Savannah and I just said, let me embrace it. What if I just went for it? So Savannah was amazing. The following year, I went to Denver, Colorado, and that was really fun. I rented an Airbnb. I got a car, and Airbnbs are fun too because you have to make it feel like home. What did I do to make it feel like home? I bought a candle. I I was in the most actually disgusting Airbnb, and the neighbor was so creepy. I'll never forget when it was nighttime, I would put like 10 different stools in front of the door as if he wanted to get to me that bad. Like, babes, he's just going to snatch you on the street. Like, he's not worried about you. I love Denver so much. The year after Denver, I went to Los Angeles. I lived with my friend Will, who was just on the pod last week. Please catch up if you haven't seen it yet. And I loved it. It was nice to see a new coast and go to San Diego, go to Hollywood, go out in WeHo, go to Santa Monica, Venice. There's so much in California. Same as how there's so much in New York, where California you have to drive to a lot of these places. But New York, I think we forget how amazing it is just to be able to walk 3 avenues and be in a completely different neighborhood or feel a completely different vibe. It is so special. But it's also special to see other places. And so that's why it's important to me. I think also my purpose in traveling to the places that I had been before Touch Grass Tour 2025 was to remind myself of it's not that deep and you're not stuck in a certain geographical location just because you live there. Life is too short to feel trapped in a place that you chose to live. And of course, everyone has restrictions. Maybe you have kids, maybe you have pets, maybe you have a job that you have to be in 5 days a week. But the importance of exposing yourself to a different type of atmosphere is really priceless. And if you can do it, I highly recommend it. Even for a weekend, just get away and talk to some strangers in a city that you've never been to. It's really special. And so when it came to this year, I have a new job where I'm in sales. And so a lot of my work is in person. And a lot of my work depends on my client relations. And a lot of my client relations are in person. And I love that part of my job. It is the favorite part of my job because if you haven't told by me yapping by myself for a lot of these episodes, I love talking and I love connecting with people. And so a lot of the job is those in-person connections, and I value those, but I also really wanted to recognize and give myself the credit of still trying to travel while I was young. And when I say young, it's not that if you're old, you missed out. No. The way I see it is I have the most independence right now that I'll ever have. And I am probably more able-bodied than I will ever be. And I want to take advantage of that. And I'm sure a lot of you have listened to the episode with my sister, but with my sister Kayla, I recognize the idea that being able-bodied is a superpower. Not everybody has it. And so if you're listening right now and you're able-bodied and you're able to hike 100 steps, no problem, that's amazing. That's really cool. If you're able to try on a dress, if you're able to go to a wedding, if you're able to wake up, work out, go to work, and then have plans after work, like that is so cool. And I would encourage you to reflect on your days and really just show gratitude where you're able to. And whichever way that may be, maybe you journal, maybe you read about it, maybe you share it with someone, maybe you talk to someone. That's really important to me. And I think that a lot of my gratitude comes from my sister, but it also has now become an aspect of me and something that I never take for granted. And so being able-bodied and being young and being also single, those are all things of those are signifying my independence. And, you know, one day, God willing, I'll have kids and I won't be able to just pick up and go whenever I want. And I love being able to take advantage of that. I think that when it came to where I wanted to go, funny enough, Oregon is pretty random. And it's really random. Oregon is a random state. Like she is nestled up in that corner. You don't really know what she's up to. You know it's mischief, but you don't know what type of mischief. She has her older sister, Washington, above her, who's just like smoking crack. I don't know. And then below is California, who is just smoking weed. And it's like, what's Oregon doing? The answer is mushrooms. And so when I was deciding where I wanted to go, my friends like to lie in bars, and I'm a bad liar. But for example, we'll be out. It's like harmless lies. We'll be out, and if a group of guys comes up to us, my friends will make up names or make up jobs or make up hometowns. And it's pretty funny because I usually am just sitting back watching because I'm not a good liar. Like I don't really know what to say, and I feel like I'm going to dig myself into a hole and it's not going to be funny. So I just kind of sit back and observe. So one day, about 2 years ago, we were in Ulysses on Stone Street down in the financial district, and we were drunk as fuck. And this group of guys came over to us, and a few of them were taking interest in me. And I'm like, oh my God, you're not hot enough to tell the truth to. So let's see what we have here. They asked me, where are you guys from? Oh my God, I just got something in my eye. I'm going to keep going because I'm strong. So they said, where are you from? And for some godforsaken reason, I said Oregon. And I don't know why. And then they said, oh, what part of Oregon? And I just walked away. And to my girls listening, I'm so sorry I did that, but I don't know what I was supposed to do because I don't know why I said Oregon. I'm familiar with a lot of states. Tell me Maryland. I could tell you a couple cities. I could even tell you a few schools. California, got you. Oregon, no. So come 2 years later, when I'm deciding where I want to go in this lovely new chapter of April, I'm like, I think I want to go to Oregon. I stopped drinking a couple months ago, which is something I'll talk to eventually. And I've been loving mushrooms. I think that a mushroom chocolate, you know, I like a stem and a cap, sure, but I'm not going on record. I think that not drinking alcohol has introduced a lot of sobering things to me, but the mushroom is an amazing thing. And where is it decriminalized? It's decriminalized in Oregon. It's not legal, it's just decriminalized. There's a lot of people growing it. And for some reason I felt connected to it. I think with me kind of looking more into it, wanting to study it a little bit more, and also wanting to appreciate where other people really appreciate it too. And don't get me wrong, people in New York appreciate it, but like I had to get out of here. So decided to go to Oregon, and one of my mom's friends lives there. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty sick to get to know your mom's best friend, one of her best friends, in such a wholesome way. My mom has a group of girls from high school that she is still best friends with. And I similarly have a group of friends from high school. I have more than her, probably like 8 or 10, that I'm very close with. And so when it came to me going to Portland, my mom, that's where I was going, in Portland. I reached out to my mom's friend, and she immediately offered for me to stay with her, which was so nice because she doesn't even know if I'm a filthy house guest. She trusted me based on my mom. And that's where genealogy really comes into play. But I think like spending time with somebody who knows your parent, someone who's really important to you from a young age, is so cool. Like, I, of course, loved hearing stories about my mom and their relationship, but learning about my mom's friend as an individual and her husband and her kids, like, it just was a really special experience because when else am I going to get this? It's pretty random that I decided to come to Portland, and now it's so beautiful that I get to now have this new relationship with these people. It was amazing. And I really just enjoyed my time with her. Portland's freaking beautiful. I was so amazed by it. And it's right by the coast. There's this place called Mount Hood where you can ski until July. That's how cold it stays on top of the mountain. The Hood River town. I went to these Japanese gardens. I went to this amazing bookstore. Like, let's talk book porn. Book porn is such a thing. And I don't mean like books that talk about porn. That's smut, you idiots. Like book porn, me going into a bookstore, I am obsessed with that. I don't know why. I think I'm just like an adult version of Matilda. I think Matilda walks so that I could run. And something about being in a bookstore just makes me feel so inspired and want to learn so much. And then I kind of leave the bookstore and I'm like, what? Why would I ever let's play Beyonce, right? I don't really have that same affiliation. But what I also did there was an open mic. And an open mic here, I have to drink water. Pat, you don't need to pause it. I'm just drinking. Are you laughing at me or at YouTube? Okay. With me, you mean? You're laughing with me. And I still haven't drank my water. Stop. Because you know what's hard?
I'm not here.
No, but I'm going to talk to you for a second. This cap doesn't have like a child protective thing. So if I'm driving, or if I'm walking, I have to stop walking, pull over to the side of the road.
You need a sippy cup is what you need.
Yeah, but then I didn't want a sippy cup because I felt like the straw gets moldy. Whatever. We'll talk to you after.
Stop breaking the fourth wall.
I love breaking the fourth wall. Because it's easier to break the fourth wall than break the glass ceiling. So you might as well. That should be my Real Housewives tagline.
Clip it.
Real Housewives, Feminist Edition. Okay, hide. We love Pat. Give it up for Pat. Is it Samaha or Samaha?
I don't know.
Okay. Ladies, if he's playing hard to get, don't play back. Not playing that game. So, oh no, what was I saying?
But if any of your ladies are listening, willing to play.
Are you pitching yourself?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the round of Date a Producer, brought to you by...
It's a new reality series we should start.
You'd be good on reality TV.
Yeah.
You'd probably get canceled.
All right. Why do you say that?
Because, like, I just got canceled, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah, anyone can get canceled.
Did you see that I got canceled?
No?
We'll talk about it later. My lawyer advised me not to talk about it.
I think you'll be fine.
I'm fine. I'm here. Wait, what was I saying, though? Portland. Oh. Okay, bye, Pat. So I go to an open mic, and what's amazing to me about open mics is in New York, open mics are really for comics. And my friend Jared explained open mics really well to me one time. He said, Dana, open mics are like going to the gym for comics. Like you're there to work out your material and it's just for other comics, other gym goers. And that helped me because I think sometimes I'm hesitant to go to open mics because something about it, I get so nervous about it. I don't know why. I'm like, is my material going to suck? Am I going to be able to flesh out a joke? And it's like, that's the point of going to the gym. And you're not going to get better if you don't go. So whatever. So when I'm in new cities, I like to try going to open mics because I like to see what other people are talking about, meet other people. It's important to get connected for free with Education Connection. So I sign up for this open mic in Portland. And what's different from New York open mics and other open mics is other open mics aren't just for comics. Other open mics are basically a comedy show. And so it's a lot of comics. You get 3 minutes or 5 minutes each. And there is a live audience for you to react at your jokes. So there's good and bad to this. It's good because you can get a live audience reaction. But it's bad because if you suck, as open mics typically do for me, that is not your time to shine. And I don't need someone in the audience like, that girl is so bad. And it's like, I thought I was going to be in front of no one. So I get to the open mic. It's at Helium, which is so cool. Helium I've performed at in Philadelphia. And Helium is just kind of like an iconic comedy club. And so I get there and you have to put your name on a list and then they pick it. And I truly felt like they were choosing people for Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory because I wrote my name down. The guy comes and he grabs the list dramatically after all the comics have put their names down. He goes into his room and all the comics are like, oh my God, like, do you think we're going to get it? And I'm like, oh my God, do you think I'm going to get it? Because I'm getting nervous, obviously. A part of me a little bit was like, maybe I'll just watch. Like, that'll be really fun for me. And so I wasn't a theater kid in high school, but this is what I imagine the theater kids felt like when the cast list went up and they got to see if they got the part. And so all of a sudden, like 30 minutes, this guy makes us wait. I'm in my cow pants also. Something about Portland, people are pretty low key there. I should not have worn my cow pants. I should have worn my denim jeans or my cargos. The cow pants were a choice, and I immediately stood out. And so the cast list goes out. He walks down outside through another club, up the stairs of another club, and he just puts the cast list down. And everyone is kind of like the Stampede and Lion King, and they're all like kind of running towards the cast list. And I'm hysterically laughing because this is such a funny experience to me. I wanted to videotape it, but I did use my social awareness, and I was like, don't do that. So we get to the cast list, and I'm like, it's literally the scene in Legally Blonde where she's like reading if she got it. And she's like, me! That's what I felt like. I read it and I was like, me! I got it. They gave me a 3-minute slot, which meant do your best, honey. But then I met some other really nice people and they got 5 minutes and other people got 3 minutes too. But I'm waiting in the back and I'm trying to figure out what material I'm going to do because I have 3 minutes. It's like, do I want to try new material? Do I want to do good material so that they think I'm good? Like, where am I getting the most value out of this? Like, I need to look out for moi. And so, I'm like 9th on the list or something. I totally memorized where I was. I was 9th on the list. And I'm getting butterflies. Also, keep in mind, it's a brand new environment. I've never been here before. I don't really know anyone. My mom's friends came and they were sitting front row and they're just like the best audience members. That's something where if you're going to come to a comedy show, please be a good audience member. I did not even vet them. They were incredible. They were getting picked on. They were laughing. They were just really great. So I would definitely need them at my next show. But so I get up. There's like a back area, the green room. And I'm like, I'm a little ner. And then the girl introduces me, and this is how she introduces me. We got her to come all the way from New York City. Give it up for Dana Siegelstein. No, these guys are expecting Nikki Glaser. Like, all the way from New York City for a 3-minute set. You have got to be joking. So I walk in, and I'm like, hey, everybody. Trying to get the vibes high. My energy is always high. And immediately I think it was the cow pants. They were not into me. And I felt it immediately. Do you ever go on a first date and y'all are like hitting it off over text and then you meet and you're like, let's just do this. Let's just do this. Let's do a 3-minute date. That's fine. That was me. So I went in with what I think is my best joke. And it flopped harder than it's ever flopped before. And at that point, I said, Dana, you're fucked. You have 60 plus 60 plus 60. You have, 270. You have 200, right? 60 plus 60. Oh, no. I can't do math. 6 plus 6 is 12 plus 12. Okay, you have 180 seconds to just make him giggle. Well. I tried some new material. And my new material is basically about how I'm dating the same way that I applied to colleges. Same exact way I applied to colleges. I have my reach, I have my target, and I have my safety. And that's a joke that it's funny in conversation. If you're listening and you didn't just laugh, maybe it's not that funny in conversation. But it's something that I'm working on building out into a bigger set. So I thought I might as well go for that. And I went for it. And have you ever gone 2.5 minutes talking and the other person not laughing when your only job was to make them laugh? I have. I was on stage for 3 minutes total and no one laughed. My family friends gave me sympathy laughs. It was bad. And then at the end, I closed out with, I love your mushrooms. Good night, Oregon, from a 3-minute set. Like, these are the things this is why people go to the gym. This is why people go to open mics. We have a lot of work to do. And if anything, that open mic has like lit a fuel under my ass of like, bitch, you need to write because you're not that good. And it was a pretty humbling experience for me of like, New York is amazing. I'm obsessed with the comedy here. I'm obsessed with the opportunities I'm given. But like, if I want to be given them continuously in a long form sense, you need to get better. And I felt like I was smacking my ass, like Akon style of like, get it together, stupid, because if you don't, somebody else is. And it also was a good thing because I realized that I wanted it. I realized that I don't want that to happen again. It's going to happen again. But I realized that I want to do everything in my power to try to not let it happen again. So it was a good night. Like, my favorite thing after a show, if I do poorly, which, yeah, that wasn't the first time. Stay humble. My favorite thing after a show, if I don't do well, and this isn't specific to the one I just did, but when I get off stage, if someone that I know or someone that I don't know is like, Dana, hey, okay. They'll go, if I did not do well, they'll say this: you looked so confident on stage. You look so confident on stage. It was one of those. Like, I looked confident, but what was coming out of my mouth was biblical. It was not funny. So the rest of my time in Portland was amazing. From Portland, then I went to a place called Crater Lake. And Crater Lake is magic on Earth. It originally was a volcano. Math. It was a volcano called Mount Mazama, and then 7,000 years ago it erupted, which left kind of like a middle sector of mountain, which is now called the Wizard, because it kind of looks like a wizard's hat, and then a huge fucking lake around it, and then the actual volcano mountain that was originally standing. So there is so much history, there's so much beauty, and there was so much snow in this amazing place. And what was cool about Crater Lake and driving in general in Oregon, this is Oregon every morning. That state is on fucking drugs. I've never met a prettier state. I've never met something that within every twist and every bend, there's forest, there's fauna, there's literally every single thing that you could want in a real life adult dream. Okay, nature is not everyone's dream. I also recognize that, but it is once you see Oregon, trust me. And just driving and being able to listen to my music, I had no service. I had planned on calling so many people. I have at least 7 friends where I was like, I'm so sorry we have not been able to catch up. Life has been beautifully busy. I am going to have so much time on the road driving. I have like 4-hour trips planned, and I'm going to be able to call you, and I cannot wait to catch up. Nope, no service. I would call one friend, a minute in, we would lose each other. And I was like, what if I just took that as a sign to be disconnected and listen to music? I listen to everything under the sun. I've become obsessed with camp, CAAMP. Obviously Noah Khan, Broadway, Beyonce, like everything under this umbrella of music, country. I just had such a good time listening to music. And the genre of music that I've listened to the most is like the Script and Five for Fighting and Vanessa Carlton. Like, those throwback songs are so powerful in the way that they make you feel. And I'm sure everyone has that, you know, different generations have different music, but my emotional alignment to music doesn't fall within like the Hilary Duff, Britney Spears, Girly Pop 9000. It falls in like the song The Riddle by Five for Fighting, or Chances by Five for Fighting, or White Houses by Vanessa Carlton. And so my one friend Griffin has an amazing playlist. It's called Why Don't They Make Music Like This Anymore? And it's literally all of those songs, or like Goo Goo Dolls. I don't know why I can't say Goo Goo. Got some phlegm stuck in my throat like a big baby. And so I just think listening to music, it was therapeutic. It was so therapeutic. I had books with me. I had journals. I was journaling the entire time. I was smoking weed at my Airbnb. Like, life was so delicious. And at Crater Lake, I went snowshoeing, which was something more last minute, which traveling alone, the beauty of it, if you're comfortable with this, is being last minute and being adventurous and kind of just being able to do what you want on a whim. You want to eat tacos? Okay, bitch, get tacos. You have a reservation at an Italian restaurant, but now you want sushi? Okay. Who cares? It's not that deep. And so having that freedom, and again, having the youngness, the able-bodiedness, the freedom, like the financial means just to be able to do this, I am so freaking lucky. And I think that like there were so many moments when I was driving where I would just start crying, where I wasn't sad. I was so grateful and I was so impressed with myself that I was doing this. And I felt so proud that I put this whole trip together for myself, and like I deserved that. I took a break from New York for a bit, and I felt so supported by my family and my friends, and I was just like, this is so fun. So Crater Lake, I went snowshoeing, and like doing adult activities alone is so funny, and it needs to be studied more because you end up understanding all of these dynamics of all these different people and how we all can work together. So our tour guide was probably like 40, 45 years old. He had been teaching in Chile before. He just was like a saint of a man. Then there were some like little kids on the trip that were acting a damn fool. And then there were these other adults that some of them were from Jersey, Maryland. Like we're all connected, duh. So at one point we're walking and our tour guide tells us, his name is Ralph. Ralph says that we're going to be able to slide down the next hill like penguins. And I thought he was joking because what do you mean? Like there's older people in this group. What do you mean? We're sliding down a hill like penguins. So we get to this spot on Mount Mazama and he is like, I'm about to pave the way for you guys. And he just jumps like a penguin belly first and just slides down this hill. And I don't really know measurement that well. Maybe it was like 100 feet. Is that a lot? I don't know. It was a long way down. And so he's going, and before he went, he was looking at everybody's jackets. And I you know how like material pulls. So like if you go down in a fleece, it's not going to slide as easily. So I, of course, was wearing my lubricated winter coat, my like shiny ass leather coat. Sorry, not leather coat. Plush? I don't know. Slidey. It was a slidey, slippery Magoo. And he was like, you're going to go very fast. And I didn't really know what that meant. And so it's my turn to go down the hill. I'm not kidding you. Like, I've never caught speed like that before, so much to the point where, like, I'm hitting bumps that people weren't hitting before. And I'm, like, flying up in the air and, like, hitting down, like, my like, I'm smashing onto the snow. And then I almost hit the tree, and he had to, like, be careful with me. And he was like, you're a runner. I'm like, I'm not. I just penguin down. But sure, you're funny. Then I was going to go again because I had so much fun and there was time, and I was going to do it again on the fun thing. And I like overheard this mom being like, oh, like I wish my jacket went that fast. And I was like, oh my God, I have to give you this opportunity. And I could have pretended not to hear her. I could have. She was with her 2 little kids. At the end of the day, my friend Ella has an amazing show. It's called Taller Toddlers. I'm going to quote her. At the end of the day, we are all taller toddlers. Shout out Ella Katz. And she was acting such like a taller toddler, and it was so beautiful because I overheard her and I was like, did I have fun? Yeah. But she didn't even get to experience it once. And so I went over to her and I was like, if you wanted to, you could wear my coat down. And her kids were like, wow. Like they were like, Mom, do it. And it just, like, that's their mom. Like, she's an adult to them. To me, she's just a woman going through life and experiencing these things for the first time. And she ended up wearing it, and she went down and she was zooming, and she almost went into the tree too. And she just was so appreciative. And later in the hike, she offered me her binoculars. And I was like, I'm all set. She was like trying to equal out what I gave to her. And I was like, my lubricated jacket, I'm sorry, your binoculars have literally nothing on my lubricated jacket, but thank you so much. Like, keep it to yourself. I have blue light glasses for that. And so snowshoeing was amazing. I accidentally walked backwards. Ralph told us the number 1 rule of snowshoeing, you cannot walk backwards. What did I do? I walked backwards, and I fell, and it was very embarrassing because that was the number 1 rule. The number 1 rule of, what is it? Fight Club? Don't fight. What is it? Oh, don't talk about it. Okay. Stupid. The number one rule of snowshoeing is don't walk backwards. And probably don't talk about it too, but a bitch is going to run her mouth. He's like, I hope you don't have a podcast or anything. I'm like, don't worry about me. From Crater Lake, I went to the Redwoods. Also, Pat, what time am I at? Damn, okay. Damn. So I went to the Redwoods from Crater Lake. So where I stayed in Crater Lake also, it was like fully a cabin in the woods. When you're looking at Airbnb, at least me personally, I'm going to the reviews. The photos matter, yes, and location is a little important. But like if it's on a map, I'm not trying to be on top of Crater Lake. That's impossible. You have to be at like a neighboring town, probably a little bit less than an hour away. And so there were such good reviews for this Airbnb. So I get there the night before. And like when I tell you it's off of a highway and the perfect place to get murdered, I was a little bit nervous. And I don't really get scared. Usually I'm in busier cities or I know people. It was like one of those moments where I felt scared. And I felt like a woman traveling alone. And it was it was a log cabin. It was so cute inside. The people who rent it out live in this house behind it, but like it looks like a slaughterhouse, like where they live. Like there was just so much that could have gone wrong that if it wasn't for the reviews, I'd be like, I'm sleeping on the floor outside in the woods with the horsies. Like I'm not doing that. So I just like didn't really sleep that well then, but that's not really interesting to listen to. So I'm going to stop talking about that. But I think if you're ever thinking about traveling alone, man, woman, big, small, like trust the reviews. There were a lot of reviews of like I was a woman traveling alone. And then my review when I was leaving a review was I'm a woman traveling alone. Like this seems a place that is really not meant for someone, but it is the coziest, most safe place you could be. And I highly recommend it. I love giving a good review. I love going to a restaurant and giving an amazing review of like, this server blew my socks off. I love that. I went to a dispensary when I was in Bend, Oregon. This girl was so helpful. I was like, can I leave you a review? She was like, yeah, we actually have a system going where if someone leaves a review about me, then I get $10 off. And I'm like, well, the joints are $5. So you're going to be like bankrupt in an amazing way. So I left a review. But then I went to the Redwoods. And the Redwoods, when I say the Redwoods, I mean the Redwood National State Park. And so there's other woods like the Humboldt State Park. There's Muir Woods. There's all these different things. But I wanted to go to the national park. And where I stayed in there was something called a barn dominium. So it was in this town called Ferndale, or as I call it, Ferndale. Like that's how everybody talks. I'm like, are you guys from here? What's going on? This town, everybody knows each other's tea. I'm obsessed. I went to a coffee shop one morning. Every single person that walked in, they were like, that's my cousin. It was pretty awesome. I was like, who's hooking up? I actually asked them who the queen bee of the town is. And they all looked at each other and they were like, I'm not saying. And I'm like, that's good. Please come on my podcast. So it was a barn dominium. It was like it was a barn turned into a condominium. I don't know how else to describe it. It was so cute, except I didn't read the instructions and I got really good weed from Oregon and I really wanted to smoke it. And for some reason, I always ask for permission and I need to stop doing that. I need to just ask for forgiveness, but I'm like, I can't risk my Airbnb rating. So I messaged the girl and I was like, hi, can I smoke weed? And she was like, no. I was like, why am I asking a woman if I can smoke weed? I'm 27 years old. I didn't smoke weed. I was too scared. I'm not risking my rating. I'm not risking my Uber rating. I'm not risking anything in the name of marijuana. I won't do it. And so the Redwoods, when I had met these girls in Bend, I was in Bend and I met these girls at a boutique. I was shopping. I really shopped. I don't see it as shopping, not for a good cause. I was shopping because that way, when I look at these sunglasses, I could say, I got these sunglasses in Oregon. Like I have meaning to these superficial things that I actually need. I needed sunglasses because I lose them all, but that's beside the point. I'm not going to lose these because they're so special to me because I got them in specific places. And so these girls in Oregon in Bend, Oregon that I ran into were telling me that I have to go to Fern Canyon. I guess like Jurassic Park was filmed there. It's a hike in the Redwoods and it leads to the coast and it's stunning. And I didn't doubt them for a second. So the next day when I was choosing where to hike, I was off this week also from work. I decided to put in Fern Canyon into my phone. And the parking lot that I end up at is there's like an information center. People are just like dying to teach you things in these states. Like they are devoted to education about hiking trails, about what you're going to run into, conditions, make sure you have hiking boots. Like I am obsessed. And it also makes you take a second of this is what your everyday looks like. What does stress look like for you? What does a really good day look like for you? It just made me wonder all these things of, you know, could you even imagine living in my city? Could I imagine living here? It's just fun to think about that stuff. And so I start hiking what I think is Fern Canyon, and I'm an idiot and I just didn't eat enough. And I had like some jerky, but not enough jerky. I was going to turn into a jerky by the end of this trip. I didn't have enough water. I wasn't prepared. If my mom's listening, Mom, you're going to love this next part because I turned around. I knew it wasn't a good idea because me cranky hiking is not fun. And also all I have is myself. So if the bitch keeping you entertained is cranky, it's not going to be fun. And that bitch is me. I am the bitch. So I turn around and I start walking and I see this older gentleman. He's kind of by a bridge and I don't know why. I felt like with my grandma passing away about 2 months ago, I have felt more connected to her and to my grandpa than I have in a bit because she wasn't herself for a long time when she was sick and my grandpa's been gone for about 6 years. And so I haven't really felt connected with my grandpa because my grandma's been alive. And I'm not so focused on the non-living when the living are still here. And they're kind of this like duo. And so I think like I would always talk about my grandpa with my grandma. And that was something beautiful that we were able to share. But in terms of like me thinking about my grandpa Lenny on my own time and on my own turf, it didn't happen a lot. Like it was a lot of, I would just call my grandma. And so with her not being here, I recognize that there's almost like this new opportunity for connection with both of them. And I realize how valuable it is to have them in mind so often and think about them and write to them. And whether you believe in that or whether you don't, I believe in that. And if that's what I need to find comfort in, hell hath risen. That didn't make any sense. That's why I just choked. My body was like, stop. So I'm walking and I see this older gentleman and he's so cute. Like he's old. And I'm amazed because he's hiking and I'm walking down and he asks me what trail this is. And I say it's Fern Canyon. At least I thought it was. I obviously tell him my entire life story, how I got a little hungry and thirsty and how I had to turn around. And we probably talked for 25 minutes, the two of us. His name is Peter Kahn. He lives in Santa Fe, New Mexico right now. And we start talking. He has these glistening blue eyes. And my grandpa had blue eyes too. I am in by no means saying that this is my grandpa reincarnated. Like, I'm not a dumbass. But I'm also not lost on the fact that I turned around at that moment. I took that trail for that moment. And then we met each other at that moment. I'm not a fool. So we're talking and he's saying really beautiful things just about how important it is to travel and how important it is to solo travel. He was there solo traveling as well. He's 83 years old. How important your body is and how being able-bodied is the biggest superpower. And we have these connected parallel thoughts, yet he is 83 and I am 27. And that is so beautiful to me. And we're talking, he's asking where I'm staying, and I'm asking where he's staying, where he likes to stay when he's here, because this isn't his first rodeo. And he ends up asking me to get dinner that night. And I'm like, wait, I haven't been asked out in so long. Like, this is crazy. My craft needs to be honed in on. And obviously I say yes because it seemed like a no-brainer. And then my phone, I had no service. He gives me his business card. Like, it was so old-fashioned. And it was so fucking special of, like, this entire interaction of here's my business card. I'm like, I'll text you when I have service. Or let's just meet. He tells me, let's meet at like sushi spot in Arcata at 6:30. And it just felt, I'm like, is this what they did in the olden days? Like, I felt like, should I go clean a house? Should I go bake a muffin? I just felt like, oh, this is so fun. Let's meet at this spot. Like, we both are aligned to meeting. No one's ghosting. I mean, what a concept. I should have been born in the 50s, not the 40s. I didn't want to go through the Holocaust. The 50s. Like, that's amazing. And so we leave each other. And then I'm so happy. So I go to my car. I get more recommendations from people on where to hike next. I get more jerky, I get like a banana, and I'm good to go. And I'm like so excited for my plans that night because also solo traveling is amazing, but I also have so many family and friends to share it with. Like when I have service, if I'm back in my Airbnb, I think that there's a lot to be said of when I'm traveling alone, I want to tell my people about it. And I'm recognizing like, yeah, I like to be alone, but I like to share it with people. Nothing really happened that I didn't tell someone about. Not because I wanted them to, let me rephrase that. I wanted to share it with them. Like it's as simple as that. It made me so happy. And I want to hear what are making their days really good. I want them to know what are making my days really good. And so I loved like recapping my days or sending photos to, I have a group chat with my sister and my parents. My parents are divorced. Like it is so special to me to be able to write in a group chat with my divorced parents, sending them photos. Like they make my life really easy in that sense where it is just that I'm sharing updates with my family and I'm really grateful for that. And so I'm walking in the Redwoods and I stumble upon this couple. There was this like gorgeous, gorgeous tree. For anyone that hasn't seen a redwood, they can grow up to 300 feet tall. 300 feet tall. These trees are insane. I never thought I was a tree girl. Who's a tree girl? I don't know. I would get out of my car to hug trees. That's crazy. No, it's not. They're the most beautiful thing. Like I am a full-on tree hugger. I would pull over. There's all these areas to pull over whenever you're driving through California, Oregon too. They're like viewpoints or vista points. You can pull over and maybe see the coast or maybe see a really great like forest line. I would pull over and go hug a tree. Like it was so crazy because I was like, y'all are given life and I'm so grateful for you. And I was so amazed by it. And something that happened actually before I was encountered this couple was I was missing my grandma a lot. And what I do to help myself when I miss her is I play music or I journal about her. Well, I didn't have service and I didn't have my journal with me. So I wanted to hear her voice. So I clicked on, I have a lot of voicemails from her that I saved. And I just decided to click one, random one. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm like, this is all meant to be. Like there is something going on the other side of whatever. I clicked the voicemail and this is the voicemail, what it essentially said. She goes, I'm going to do her accent. She goes, "Darling Dana, where are you today? I can only imagine the adventures that you're going on. Please, please, please have somebody near you give the biggest possible hug. I'm thinking of you. I'm living through you. And please, honey, just keep having fun and be safe." To hear that in that moment was crazy because that's not what all of her messages said. A lot of them were her just telling her how much she loves me or if she was in pain that day or what she did that day. For me to click that voicemail and hear that message was so important and so telling to me of, hi, you're here. Thank you. I'm obviously bawling my eyes out in the forest. That's another thing about me. Crying in public, mwah. Crying in public in front of trees, mwah, mwah, mwah. Even more gorgeous. So I'm walking, I run into this couple, and I have this big smile on my face because I am so enamored by all of this nature. I'm literally walking around like this. Like, I'm loving it. And this older woman goes, "Oh my God, you are so happy." And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, I'm not working, I'm exploring, this is amazing. And I just thought that was a funny interaction that she and I had because about 30 minutes later, I'm walking a completely different trail And so are they. And we run into each other again. And her husband, who is this very fun, quirky, loving man, Michael, he says, he's like talking to me. He's like, it's the happy girl. It's so good to see you again. I like make rocks at home. He gave me a rock with like almost a chain on it, so you could put like a necklace or on a keychain. He said, I think you're special. I want you to have this. And I'm like, do you give this to all the girls that you run into on the forest? He said a lot of them. I said, great. So then we both go our separate ways, and then I hear them again, and they're like behind me a little bit. And I just turn around. I'm like, are you guys kidding me? Are you following me? And they're like, come and join us. This was meant to be. So I end up joining them, and we hike together for about 2 hours. And Michael and Janine, they are the sweetest couple. They're road tripping. So they have like this huge RV that they live in. They have a toilet, beds. It's hysterical. They're retired, and they have kids, and they just seize the freaking day. They're camping. They're hiking through the redwoods. They've been there multiple times. The point of the story is I love meeting people, and I love connecting with people, and the fact that they took me under their wing, I know it made them really happy because they told me how happy it made them, but it made me feel really happy too, and it made me feel really warm. Like they taught me so much. They taught me about what a hemlock tree is and what a maple tree is, and they took photos in like the special places, and there's this tree called the corkscrew tree. It almost grows like around. It's stunning. Like, how did you do that? I kept saying to the trees, how did you get here? They didn't laugh. But it's literally like my open mic in Portland. And I just think experiences like those are why I travel alone, because I'm at my whim. And I did go to dinner with Peter Kahn, and it was great. I definitely cried a lot. I think like something I really would love to work on is not crying so much, because I am so emotional, and I have a really hard time shoving it down, because I think my emotions were so embraced growing up, and I'm so grateful for that. I actually wouldn't have it any other way, but I do think there are some times where I'm like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, and I'm just bawling. And I don't really cry if like something doesn't go my way, or if something, or like if I'm mad about something. I cry when like I feel a lot of emotions. Like I feel sad for people, or I feel sad for myself, or like I feel happy for people and I cry, and I feel happy for myself and I cry. So I cried a lot with Peter. I think that I saw a lot of traits that like my grandpa would have had at that age if he were able to travel alone. And it made me sad, but I also was like super grateful that I could talk to this man who was 83 years old, and he could tell me stories, and he told jokes just like my grandpa. And like finding these little pockets of appreciativeness for the generations older than us. They've seen so much life. They've seen so much of this world, and to be able to hear their stories and just like sit down and shut the fuck up, I was loving it. Yeah, it was really fun. And, you know, the rest of the trip, I was in San Francisco, and then I went camping a little bit. I think I'll probably talk about camping another time too, just because it was a really unique, special experience. And I'm like so not a camper, but at the same time I am. And that's one of those spur of the moments activities where I was supposed to go to Big Sur one day for the weekend and then go to LA. And my friend Kayla, not my sister Kayla, my friend Kayla was like, we're going camping this weekend. Would you want to come? And I was kind of a no-brainer for me when else am I going to be able to go camping with you guys? Like, probably never. This is sick. So I went camping with them. It was awesome. I think, to wrap up this episode, I appreciate you so much for listening, and do something that gets you out of your comfort zone, whether it's like talking to someone, going out to dinner alone, even like taking a street that you don't usually take on the way home, taking a different type of subway, taking a city bike. Do something that you wouldn't usually do. You'll be floored by the magic that comes from things like that. And thank you for listening to Not That Deep, and I will see you next time.